God we trust. Says on the bill, from blue to bust. Make it a thrill. It can steal your life, dominate your goals, make trouble and strife.
Hi there, Johnny here from JonnyLipshamStudios.co.uk, and welcome to episode number 4 of the Paper Deity mixing series. And in today's video, we are going to get into the guitars and maybe some of the keys if we get that far. I'm trying to keep these videos down to under 30 minutes, so let's endeavor to do that. All right, so let's get into it, and we'll go straight over to the guitars. We're going to come back to the guitar bus in just a minute, but first of all, I want to show you what I've set up with the guitar amps using Guitar Rig 5. I've got 3 instances, one for each, the tremolo, the Les Paul, and the muted guitar. And I'm going to show you kind of what I've done here, and then we're going to go and basically overall shape things on the bus with a little bit of gentle EQ and some gentle compression to basically glue these 3 guitars together. And then we will maybe do some complementary EQ on these individual guitars to separate them out. But we might not need to do that because the difference in guitar tones on the guitar amps might be enough to do that, and we'll check that in mono. So let's go and take a look at the tremolo guitar to start with. So let's wait for the GUI to open up. There we go. So we're using the Tremolo Twang preset, and pretty much all of these that we're looking at are presets, and I've just adjusted them a little bit. So we've got this reverb, and we've got the speed set relatively slow, not too fast, not too slow. Quite a lot of intensity, and I've got the reverb set quite low because I'm thinking that I might want to add some overall reverb to the guitars in general later on, and I don't want to have too much reverb conflicting. Quite a lot of bass for this one, and a lot of treble, and I've rolled out quite a bit of the mids. And then we've got this, we've got 2 mics on the cabinet here. We've got mic A and mic B. I don't even know what mics these are. I just basically played around and to see which side I liked, whether A or B, and I went for somewhere in the middle. And then I set this to dry or air. You've got a choice. So let's actually go and take a look at what this sounds like. If I just solo up the guitar, we'll open this guy again, and we'll play just the guitar on its own, and we will check out the difference between dry and air. And I'll show you kind of why I liked the dry. So for me, it's actually quite subtle. And certainly my headphones here is actually quite subtle. But when you flip it over to air, it definitely adds some extra top end and some extra brightness and sparkle, but I don't really want too much of that with this tremolo guitar. I want it to be relatively dark, so that's why I kept it over on the dry setting. So let's play that again and see if you can spot the difference. That's fully over on air. See, it's just a shade darker. Now, you might not hear this if you're listening to this on earbuds or on a cell phone or something like that. So if you could be listening to this on studio-grade headphones or studio monitors, you would probably discern this a little bit better. But it is very, very subtle. So if you're not hearing this, don't worry too terribly much. And that's pretty much all that she wrote on this, really. This took just a couple of minutes to dial in, and I really quite liked it. So that's the tremolo guitar. Let's go over to the Les Paul, the fakey Les Paul, and let's have a look at the settings there. So we're using a different setup this time. We're using the Clean Citrus. So it looks like this is an orange amp with an orange head, which they've called Citrus. Nice. So this is like an orange amp guitar setup with a compressor, going into the amp head with the cabinet. Again, you've got these two mics. I don't know what they are. And then this dry air thing. And I've put these both kind of roughly in the middle. And then you have a studio reverb, which I've actually set the brightness to its max. And then I wanted the size to be not too big. Again, because I might add some overall reverb to all the guitars on the bus a little bit later. So we might roll this back off to completely off altogether. And I've got the dry wet kind of down low as well. So let's just have a listen to just this. Okay, so again, we've rolled off a lot of the low end and on the bass, and I've used the low cut as well. And then I've left the treble up the middle, and low gain, and I've got the master quite up, and about the presence is about halfway. I just basically tinkered with these until I found a sound that I liked, and then I didn't want too much going into this compressor, because I knew that later down the line I wanted to compress all these guitars together. So I wanted to be doing subtle compression, essentially. So let's go back to that section there. So I've got the compressor meter going about halfway, so reasonable amount of compression. So we may not need to do very much on the master bus when we get the guitar bus when we get to that. Okay, so that's the Fakey Les Paul, and then the other guitar is this palm muted guitar. Let's have a look at that. And then this time we're using this Lead 800 setup, which is, I really like this. You've got a chorus flanger unit, which I've got in chorus mode, on the slowest speed, more or less, with quite a lot of intensity up. You can see this light blinking on and off pretty slowly. And then I've gone for quite a dry setup on the cabinet here, and the mic is kind of a little bit more towards A than to B. And I've got the volume really quite low, but the master output really quite high on the amp head here. Not much preamp, tons of bass, tons of mids, and darkening it up. So the presence is down and the treble is slightly down as well. Again, because I don't want these guitars to cut too terribly much, especially this one. Don't mind the tremolo guitar poking through a little bit more, but I don't want this guy to get in the way of the Fender Rhodes, particularly in the chorus, because the Fender Rhodes is playing much more rhythmically in the chorus, so I didn't want this to kind of trip over it and get in the way of it, because this is quite a rhythmic little pattern that this guy plays as well. So there you go, that's the three guitars. And I'm going to turn solo off, and we're going to go across onto the bus. Now, we're going to listen to this section just with the guitar bus solo just for a few seconds. We're going to listen to these three guitars together, and then maybe I will just do a little bit of shaping with the Pro EQ, and we'll bring in an LA2A probably to just bring a little bit of light compression. Now, as you can hear, the palm mute guitar has got quite a lot of delay baked into it. When we recorded that, it was going through a delay. So that's just baked into the track. Not a lot I can do about that. So let's go and get the Pro EQ over onto the Effects tab. And then let's scroll down and get the Pro EQ. And we'll maybe do just a little bit of light overall EQ. And we'll do this in context. So let's set ourselves up on that section again. We'll do this in context. Again, we're keeping the vocals and the backing vocals out of this. We're just dealing with just a whole sort of band, as it were, at the moment. Okay, I think we're getting there with this. Just rolled off some of the low end a little bit, and then I've pulled out some 418. Get rid of some boxiness I could hear, and also the fact that the Fender Rhodes is kind of in this area anyway. Want to get some of this out of the way for the Fender Rhodes. And I know I need to go and deal with this, that 400 area on the Fender Rhodes anyway, that 350 to 450 area on the Fender Rhodes needs dealt with anyway, so I'm going to get into that as well, but I know that particularly the tremolo guitar has a bit of a bump here as well, so I want to try and balance those two out. So I know that later on, probably in the next video, we're going to go and deal with that. We might get onto that today. We'll have to see. All right, so we'll leave that as is for now. And then we'll go and get the fat channel. And we'll get the LA2A on here. And we may come and revisit this, especially once we get into keyboards. I want to do a little bit of jigsaw mixing is what I call it, when I'm kind of like doing some complementary EQ between the Fender Rhodes. Oh, knocked the mic, sorry about that. Between the Fender Rhodes and the other guitars, so that they're getting out of the way of each other. So let's go and get the LA2 in here. There she is. Let's just play this chorus again. Okay, I think we're just about there with that. I just wanted to do just like 2, maybe 3 dB of compression on the guitars there, just to bind them together. Nothing too terribly crazy. Okay, let's move down the line and maybe just take a little bit of a look at the keyboards. So keyboards, what do we got? We've got a Hammond, and we've got the Fender Rhodes. So we'll have a look at the Fender Rhodes first, and we're going to basically live in this chorus here, because pretty much it's the last chorus of the song. It's got the most activity going on in it for all of our tracks. So let's just take a listen to the Fender Rhodes on its own just now to start with. And everybody heard the very, very bad edit there, where it just popped at the end there. Excuse me, I still have my cold kicking about. But we won't worry about that, because you're not going to hear that in the mix. You're not going to hear that. So anyway, let's go and grab the Pro EQ again. This time just to kind of get some of that 400 out and some of that low end out of the Fender Rhodes. Okay, let's just check this in context. Okay, just wanting to open up some of the upper mids of the Fender Rhodes as well. And I'm having to be careful because I don't want to get in the way of the guitars, particularly the tremolo guitar. So right call to lose this area here, the 364 area on the Fender Rhodes, because they are nicely out of the way of the tremolo guitar now. And then I've opened up a little bit of 1K and a little bit of about 3K as well, just to kind of get some of the attack. Particularly when I'm really digging into, because this was me playing the Fender Rhodes on here, particularly when I'm really digging in and playing a little bit more aggressively, I wanted to get some of that bark and some of the bite that you get from a Fender Rhodes when you hit it hard to pop through. So let's just have another listen to that. Okay, cool. I think that's starting to sound pretty good. Let's go and take a quick look at the Hammond. We're beginning to run out of time a little bit for today's video, but let's go and take a quick look at the Hammond and see what we can do here. Now, we don't need a lot of low end in here because the Hammond is playing mostly a complementary role, so we can probably afford to lose a lot of low end here. So let's go grab the Pro EQ and we'll do that. Let's see, shall we solo this up? Yeah, let's solo this up just to start with. Oh, hang on a minute, what happened there? Did I hear a stray saxophone come in? Yes, I did. I thought I had. That was strange. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, let's get this back into context. Okay, cool. I think those sound pretty nice together now. So what we'll probably go and do is we'll actually only put a compressor on the keyboard bus. I don't think we need to do any EQ there at all. And I'm liking maybe the LA2 again for this, because the LA2 is nice and super smooth. So let's go grab that and get the tube on there. And let's have a listen to this. Cool, I think we've got that sounding pretty good. So I think we've got a reasonably good rhythm section balance now. So I think next week we can get down into the horn section and the tenor sax and get them all squared away. And then we will be into backing vocals. So stay tuned next week for horn section and tenor saxophone solo session. That'll be next week. So if you like this video or you found it useful, please do hit that like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know when the next video is coming out. As I say, that'll be next Thursday, but you know, the notification is there to remind you. And as I say, hit that like button. I'd appreciate that a great deal if you did that. If you go down to the description box below this video, if you haven't already downloaded the stems to this song, please go and help yourself. There is a Dropbox link there to a zipped folder, and you can get the stems there, and you can mix this song to your heart's content. I'd be very interested actually to hear some of your mixes. So if you would like to do that and you are on Facebook, then please do reach out to me on Facebook. You can visit the Jonny Lipsham Studios Facebook page, and you can post a link to your mix there. That would be very, very cool. Or you can reach out to me via private message if you don't want to be too public about it. It'd be really cool to listen to some of your mixes. So yeah, go ahead and get the stems to this song and mix to your heart's content. You can use this in your profile to attract clients to your business. I'm happy for you to do that. The only caveat being you just need to credit me, Jonny Lipsham, as the artist, and note that this is Paper Deity from my EP Belonging to Tomorrow from 2016. I would appreciate that if you did that too. So in the meantime, I will say a very big thank you for watching. I hope you found this helpful and useful, and I will see you on the next episode. I'm just trying to find my next thing here on OBS. I am not that slick with this yet, but I'm sure I will get there. So thanks very much, and I'll see you on Sunday for Sunday Night Live, which will be 6 p.m. Central. Be there or be amusingly shaped. And then, of course, next week for the next episode of Paper Deity Mixing. See you then, folks. Bye for now.
In God we trust, says on the bill, from boom to bust.